Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the annual Golden Triangle UNCF banquet. I extend a heartfelt thanks to the committee for asking me again to take part in this very important event. I will be serving as your MC throughout this virtual event. Just as we did last year, we're having to celebrate a little differently. We're in a virtual environment, but the mission of this very meaningful event is still the same: to raise awareness and money for the United Negro College Fund. I am a proud graduate of a UNCF school, Stillman College in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Here in Mississippi, we have two UNCF schools, Rust College in Holly Springs and Tougaloo College in Jackson. Your contributions will help ensure that these institutions continue to not only survive but thrive, helping young people continue their educations in the loving, nurturing environments that these schools provide. Now, you're going to be hearing from various UNCF supporters throughout this program, from churches to businesses to Greek and civic organizations, all of them encouraging you to do as they have done, and that is to donate to the UNCF. Throughout the program, you will see the mailing address to send your donations. You will also be treated to some wonderful entertainment from the Rust College Choir and others. Now we will begin with the occasion from Mrs. Tracy Tate from Tracy Tate Bridges.
Good evening. My name is Tracy Tate Bridges, and I am a former student of Rust College and current member of the Golden Triangle UNCF Planning Committee. For over 50 years, the Golden Triangle United Negro College Fund Committee has raised funds for student scholarships at 37 historically Black colleges and universities. The occasion tonight is to appeal to the community once again to make a donation to this worthwhile cause. We hope you, your business, organization, and churches will join in our effort to provide much-needed funds for higher education. Your contributions will make education possible for many great minds. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. And now we will hear from Bernice Jones and Mildred Smith, members of the committee, sharing why it's so important to give. After their appeal, a special treat for you, a selection from the Rust College a cappella choir.
Hi, my name is Bernice Jones. I'm a proud graduate of Rust College. This is why I invest in education.
I give for the future generation.
Lord, I'm learning to love thy way. For with thy way I cannot stray. Lord, continue to discipline me. Thy will, thy way. Nothing else matters but that thy will be done. Thy will, thy way. Nothing else matters but that thy will be done. Thy will, thy way.
Our thanks to the churches who have donated to UNCF. If your church has not yet donated, there is still time to do that. You can send your donations through Cash App. The handle is there on your screen. You will also see the address there if you prefer to send your donation in the form of a check. Remember, every dollar will help Rust College and Tougaloo College continue to nurture young minds. People throughout the community want you to know why they give to UNCF, including the group that organized this program. In just a moment, we're going to hear from Irma Dickerson and TJ Tate Jr. Then there will be a special message from UNCF scholarship recipient, Mr. Eric Johnson. He is a 2021 graduate of Rusk College.
This is why I give.
This is why I contribute to the Golden Triangle United Negro College Fund.
Greetings, my name is Eric Johnson, current graduate student at Columbia University, pursuing my master's in nonprofit management. I would not be who I am if I attended my HBCU, and it has made a lifetime difference. Attending Rusk College, being part of the UNCF community, and being HJ president really made me who I am today. From the support on the campus to supporting UNCF made a true difference. And just think about what that can do for students around the nation, at our HBCUs and students of color around the nation. We have to continue the mission and to continue to support our students so they can make a positive impact on the world. So I ask you guys, let's come together, let's keep supporting. What that means? That means your money, yes, but it also means your time, your patience, and your support until we can get this problem solved. So I ask you, join me in supporting UNCF and supporting our students. Thank you.
Several businesses have already stepped up to donate, and we want to say thank you for that. If your business would like to make a contribution to the United Negro College Fund, you can send your donations again through the Cash App, the handle we have there on your screen for you. You will also see the address if you would like to send your donation in the form of a check. Now, who better than those on campus know how important your contributions are? In just a moment, you'll hear a special message and an appeal from a student at Rusk College, followed by greetings from the president of Rusk College, Dr. Ivy R. Taylor. After their messages, we'll have a selection from the renowned Rusk College Choir.
Greetings. My name is Joshua Wright. I am from the beautiful city of Clinton, Mississippi. I am a junior at the illustrious Rusk College, majoring in mass communications with a concentration in broadcast journalism. I humbly serve as a residential assistant, the president of Collegiate 100, and as the 2021 to 2022 Mr. Junior for my institution. I would like to thank the Golden Triangle UNCF Committee and the UNCF for their financial support to the students at Rusk. Your donations continue to help us get to and through college. Thank you.
I'm Ivy Taylor on behalf of the trustees, faculty, staff, and students at Rusk College. Greetings from the Citadel on the Hill. I have the distinct pleasure of serving as the 12th president of Rusk College. Allow me to extend a special thanks to the Golden Triangle United Negro College Fund Committee. We sincerely appreciate everything that you do for our beloved Rusk College and for the United Negro College Fund. We know that this year, as a result of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, many of our events and celebrations are not able to continue in the same fashion, but I'm so appreciative of your efforts to continue our legacy and the traditions of Rusk College. With that in mind, I'd like to express my appreciation to the committee for your continued fundraising efforts to support
I, the Lord of sea and sky, I have heard my people cry, all who stars of night. I make the darkness bright. Who will bear my light to them? Whom shall I send? Here I am, Lord. Is it I, Lord? I have heard you calling in the night. I will go, Lord, if you lead me. I will hold your people in my heart. Here I am, Lord. Is it I, Lord? I have heard you calling in the night. I will go, Lord, if you lead me. I will hold your people in my heart.
Many organizations are doing important work already in their communities, but they're also giving to the United Negro College Fund. And there's still time for your Greek organization or your civic group to give. You can send those donations through Cash App. Again, we have the handle there for you on the screen. You will also see an address to send your donation in the form of a check if you prefer to do it that way. Please help these schools continue their mission of educating young minds. And now we'll hear more from members of the committee, Tavita Hughes and Janice Bridges. After them, there will be a special message from another past UNCF scholarship recipient, Dr. Lorenzo Esters.
I donate because it's very important for me to give back to the United Negro College Fund.
UNCF means a lot to me. All the things that I've accomplished in life, I think back of what was going on at that time, and I'm very grateful. Think in terms of UNCF schools and what they could mean to each of you.
Hello, I'm Lorenzo Esters, Chancellor of the Indianapolis campus of Ivy Tech Community College and alumnus of Rust College. I am immensely grateful to UNCF for supporting my college success through scholarships during my time as a student. As a first-generation college student who grew up in a single-parent household, I know firsthand the empowering impact of a higher education and what it can do for one individual, but for an entire family. Today, UNCF continues to support students from around the world who, just like me, need someone who believes in them and their ability to excel. Thank you, UNCF and the Golden Triangle UNCF team for more than 7 decades of helping students not just attend college, but thrive, graduate, and become leaders. Each day, I have the awesome opportunity to model the same virtues that I learned as an undergraduate. As a proud alumnus, you make me proud to spell my name UNCF. Go Bearcats.
Johnny Johnson will join us in a moment, but first a special thank you to so many individuals in the community in the Golden Triangle who have donated to the United Negro College Fund. You can donate also. Remember, you can send those donations through Cash App. Make sure you check that handle there on your screen. You can also see the address if you prefer to send your donation in the form of a check.
My name is Johnny Johnson. I'm a product of a black institution, which is now closed. And I give to UNCF because I feel like it's our duty to not ever allow another black institution to close. And with your help, I encourage you to also give to UNCF because a mind is a terrible thing to waste. And we're talking about our future, our future. Our young folks who are trying to go to college now are struggling. And they need yours, mine, and everyone's help. So I encourage you today, if you can, please give to UNCF and Russ College. Thank you.
And now we'll hear special music from someone most know in these parts as the Mississippi Songbird. Let's welcome Dorothy McClung.
Mary, the mother of our Savior, made a difference in the world through the birth of baby Jesus. Your giving to the Golden Triangle United Negro College Fund will make a difference in the lives of so many. As a 1972 graduate of Russ College, I'm asking you, if you have not done so, to please make a generous donation to this worthy cause. Let your contribution to the Golden Triangle United Negro College Fund be life-changing to someone desiring a college education. As I sing, Mary, did you know?
Mary, did you know your baby boy gives sight to your baby boy will be the Lord of all creation. Mary, did you know your baby boy one day will rule the nation? Did you know your baby boy, oh Lord, heaven's perfect lamb, the sleeping child you're holding, he is, he is, he is, he is, he is the
And now Reverend Dwight Prowell, minister at St. James United Methodist Church in Columbus, will introduce our keynote speaker.
Our speaker is the residential bishop of the United Methodist Church in the Mississippi Annual Conference. He is a spiritual preacher and has brought life, laughter, and light to many congregations in Mississippi and beyond. He is serving his second quadrennium in the Mississippi Annual Conference. He also serves as a member of the International Association of United Methodist Colleges, Schools, and Universities, also serving on the Board of Trustees for Gammon Theological Seminary and Rust College. Bishop James Swanson has preached, lectured, and led workshops in over 20 nations as well as in the United States. Bishop Swanson and his wife Delphine had 6 adult children and 23 grandchildren. I am happy and glad to introduce Bishop James Swanson Sr. as our speaker for the Golden Triangle United Negro College Fund for 2022.
Well, hello. As we celebrate United Negro College Fund, and as we begin to even contemplate in our hearts and our minds what the Lord would have us, and hear this word, I want you to hear it real good, have us to give so that those to whom the idea and the reality of education is a stretch, it won't be as big a stretch because you have given to make that happen. I want to remind you of something that many of you probably already know about. And some of you probably viewed the movie Amistad. In that movie, Anthony Hopkins, who's a great actor, plays the role of John Quincy Adams. And he reads an excerpt from the Executive Review, a publication printed by the president. In this article, John C. Calhoun, a senator and former vice president of the United States, is quoted as writing the following. Since the beginning of time, the exploitation of one human being by another has always been the rule. Even in the Garden of Eden, when there were but two, one was placed under subjection to the other. He goes on in his argument to indicate that for one human to exploit another, or even for a nation to exploit another nation, is neither wrong or immoral, but basically just the way life is ordained. His argument seems to be suggesting that exploitation, injustice, unfairness, or inequity has the blessings of God. In other words, when we cry out to God, the cause of an injustice or foul play, our cry falls on dead ears. God does not hear us. It is a further accusation that also appears to indict God as being a poor creator. It implies that in creating this world, but God did not make the proper provisions for everyone. Now, the only conclusion I can come to when I follow the logic of the former Vice President of the United States, John C. Calhoun, that either God did not have the power to create enough or did not desire to do so. Now, the first part of my statement cannot be true because the very definition of the name of God indicates superior, exceedingly above all else, one without limits, which means that God does have the power and did at the time of creation have the power to make sure that this world contained anything and everything needed for the abundance of living for everyone. The latter part of the statement, however, violates the first part of John 3:16. God so loved the world. And when I say the world, you need to understand not the physical sphere that floats out there in the universe, but that God so loved the people of the earth. So, and if Calhoun is wrong, and if you can listen to my argument, I believe he is, then we must conclude that God made the world, and that in making the world, God gave enough provisions for everyone. There is enough for everyone. Now, I used to say it this way when I was pastor of a local congregation. Whenever we were having these campaigns and we were trying to raise money to do something, to stretch ourselves and to do more, I would always tell the church, we have the money we need. And they would all look at me with big eyes. I said, in fact, God woke me up this morning to tell me you got all of the money that you need for every dream that's in the church. He said, but here's the problem you're faced with, preacher. The problem is that money is in the pockets of the people sitting in the pews and in the chairs. And so what we've got to do is to convince them that I've given them enough, not just for them, but enough for them to share with everyone else. So when a young boy or a young girl, young teenager begins to think creatively about their future, and that future includes going off to college so they can be able to expand their knowledge and therefore have experiences that give them more wisdom, where they can live out their hopes and their dreams and their aspirations. Sometimes as they look within the coffers of their homes and of their families, the money is not there. But I want you to understand, because I believe that you're not heavy, you're my brother and my sister, that I should also feel a weight, a heaviness in my heart. Because God has given me more than what I need, I should be willing to share with that young woman, with that young man. There's a dream that they cannot reach in and by themselves. This is just not a fairy tale. This is not a ripoff. This is not just me trying to get money out of your hands, but it is for me to try and help you to understand the old axiom that it is more blessed to give than it is to receive, that it is in giving that we do receive. In fact, it is the same axiom the banks have used and Wall Street uses all of the time, and that is they convince you that you must take what you have and invest it, and it will give you a return. In other words, you'll have more than what you invested. And because this world is in such great need, if we invest in the lives of young ladies and young men, if we invest in their lives, God will give us a return, because there is enough for you, there's enough for me, it's enough for my grandchildren, for your grandchildren, and for as many as the Lord our God shall call, who are far off. There is enough for everyone. Even though many do live below the subsistence level. Think of how much poverty, not just money-wise, but poverty we would be in if we limited the blessings of the world to just those who have? How many have-nots have blessed our world? I mean, today, I was looking the other day, rather a few days ago, I was looking on Facebook, and I saw somebody posted this thing, and they said something of this nature. How many grown folk today still eat peanut butter and jelly? And I wrote on, I do too. I still eat peanut butter and jelly. But do you realize that the peanut butter that you eat, it comes from a man by the name of George Washington Carver, who did not have much, but somebody extended a hand up to George Washington Carver, and God had already placed in him all of the genius that he needed. That's what the United Negro College Fund is about. It is about not extending a hand down, but a hand up, because God has been good to us. There is enough. Even in a world where 450 million people go hungry each and every day. Even in a world where 77 nations are on the wealthy nation list, who sometimes refuse to give aid to the other nations of the world who are in need. There is enough in this world to take care of the lives of men and women and young boys and young girls and even the children that are on this way. And a lot of that money is in your pockets. Part of our understanding of this is the fact of you and I beginning to be convinced, or as we would say in my field of service, converted to the fact that I am my brother and my sister's keeper, and that somebody who is crying is deserving of a handkerchief from me and a warm smile, and most of all, also a great meal and a word of hope and inspiration into their lives. There is enough, and God has created this world and you and I to supply all of those needs. Well, we don't want to be like Marie Antoinette, who literally said to people who were hungry, let them eat cake. Amen. No, 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 no. We don't want to cut them adrift in this world and let them be buffeted to and fro by the vicissitudes of life. But you and I can make the determination that we will plant a seed, a tree, where we will never be able to sit underneath it and enjoy the shade thereof or the fruit that come from that tree. But somebody else will come along who's weary and tired and worn out by the heat of the sun, and their day will be made cooler because you planted a tree in the right season and at the right time. And because you did that, then that person who comes along will have shade. Or you planted a fruit tree, and you'll never be able to taste the juiciness, yes, of a great peach if it happens to be a peach tree. But someone else will come along, and they will enjoy the peach that you planted and that you made possible. There is enough for the whole world, and some of that enough is in your pockets. When you think of the many great men and women whom have been blessed by the United Negro College Fund, you know that we should be investing. I stand before you today as one who's been blessed by the United Negro College Fund. I remember as a small lad, the age of 8 years old, Reverend Arthur J. Bondage, pastor of Green Chapel African Methodist Episcopal Church, preaching a sermon, telling a little black boy while he was playing in the pews that God so loved him that God gave God's own son. And of course, he did the inimitable that most black preachers do. He got to that part where it made him happy, and so he made the rest of us happy. And he said, he died. Didn't he die? And he said, but early Sunday morning he got up. And I sit there enraptured by Arthur J. Bondage's voice as it resonated between my two ears. And I was so enraptured by what Arthur J. Bondage had to say to me that day, I quit playing in the pews, and my heart was pricked to the point that after church, I stood outside the church, and my mother and I got in a conversation, and I said, Mama, I just need to know the answer to one question I had. She said, what? I said, Mama, does God love me enough that he would get his son to die for me? And she said, oh, yes. I said, you mean to tell me that Reverend Bundage was right? That God's son died for me? She said, oh, yeah. That's what he did. I said, well, Mama, somebody died for me. What does he want from me? And she just said to me, he wants you to let him into your heart. And so today I stand before you as a well-educated, having been able to go through not only a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, a doctorate of ministry, but other studies. And most of that happened especially when I was at the ITC, and the Interdenominational Theological Center, because of the generosity of men and women who I'll never meet and never know, because they saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And so I argue with a John C. Calhoun that would preach and teach and even write about a doctrine of scarcity. No such thing in God's creation. When God created, God made everything living. He made everything living with provisions for it. And the beauty of it is that he created me and you in his image and in his likeness. And so you and I have been given the power to imitate God by providing provisions for young girls and young boys to go off to college, to live dreams so that they could come home one day with a piece of paper in their hand and look at their whole family. And they say to that whole family, thank God that I now have a degree and I can go out and not only earn a living for myself, but be a shining example for my cousins and other brothers and sisters, and later for my own children. That's enough. Now the trick is, will you share what you have that others might live? In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. God bless you.
Thank you, Bishop, for those inspiring words. As we move to the end of our program, Committee Chairperson Ms. Tavita Hughes will join us with some final remarks.
I am Tavita Hughes, Chairperson, and we are the Golden Triangle United Negro College Fund Committee. The Golden Triangle United Negro College Fund Committee consists of 3 cities, Columbus, Starkville, and West Point. The national slogan for the United Negro College Fund is,
America is a terrible thing to waste,
but a wonderful thing to invest in. Please donate to the United Negro College Fund. And we would like to thank everybody who have already made a contribution. You are making it possible for young minds to learn. We thank you, and we thank you again.
All right, thank you, Ms. Hughes. Thank you so much for joining us for this special event and this important cause. The money raised will help UNCF schools continue to provide exceptional educational opportunities for their students. UNCF lists as its mission to build a robust and nationally recognized pipeline of underrepresented students who, because of UNCF support, become highly qualified college graduates. Your contributions will help in that mission. Many thanks to all of you who have given, and if you still want to give, use that Cash App handle or send your donation by mail to the address there on your screen. Again, we're so glad you could join us, and thank you for supporting the United Negro College Fund and its important mission.
gonna take it home to my Jesus. Ain't